On November 8, 2019, deep in the jungles of northern Thailand, a team of researchers and military officials scours a steep mountainside. The mountain's name is Doi American Mountain. For years, it was just a name on a map, a relic of a war long past. But from Major Daniel Jackson of the U.S. Air Force and Air Chief Marshal Sakpanet Promtup of the Royal Thai Air Force, it was a clue to a 75-year-old mystery, and today, they were hoping to find an answer. The team moves in silence, the air thick with humidity and history. They're looking for any sign of a crash, any piece of metal that doesn't belong to the jungle. Major Jackson's metal detector sweeps back and forth. Then, a shrill squeal pierces the quiet. He drops to his knees, digging carefully through the thicker. After a moment, he pulls out a 9-inch piece of metal, lined with bolts. Attached to it is a small data plate. It reads, Drain Boss 5A 24 volts out motor. This isn't just any scrap, it's a fuel pump from a P-51C Mustang, an American World War II fighter. But how did it get here? And why was this discovery the culmination of a decades-long search for a missing American soul? To answer that, we have to go back 75 years to a day when the skies over Thailand became a furious, forgotten battlefield. November 11, 1944. 5 Thai fighter pilots and close friends are in the air. They are flying the Nakajima Ki-27B, a plane they affectionately call the Sparrow. It's an outdated Japanese design slope, with fixed landing gear, and armed with just 2 small machine guns. Their mission is to scout for an incoming American formation. They are hopelessly outmatched. The American force is massive, 16 planes in total. P-51C Mustangs and P-38J Lightnings, some of the most advanced aircraft of the war. Flight Lieutenant Chalamgait Wattanangoon spots them first. There's no time to wait for the rest of his flight. He dives straight at the enemy. Chalamgait opens fire. In a stroke of incredible luck, his bullets hit a P-38's fuel tank. The American plane catches fire and is forced to retreat. But the moment of triumph is short-lived. The Americans return fire with overwhelming force. Chalamgait's Sparrow is riddled with bullets. His engine erupts in flames. He has no choice but to dive away and head for the nearest airfield at Lampung. His landing gear is shot, so he has to perform a dangerous falling leaf maneuver, slowly dropping towards the runway. He crashes hard, but he's alive. He barely has time to register his survival before he realizes the airfield is under attack. He jumps out and starts running, only to remember his valuable parachute is still in the cockpit. He turns back. As he reaches for it, American bullets tear through the air. Chalamgait is hit. His plane explodes behind him, but an airman grabs him and drags him to safety. 1 pilot is down. Above, Flight Sergeant Wad Suntangamon sees the smoke. He dives into the fray, trying to take on 3 P-38S and a P-51. He dodges a hail of fire from 1 Mustang, but another burst finds its mark. His fuel tank ignites. The cockpit becomes an inferno. Through the searing pain, he manages to unbuckle himself, heave the canopy back, and jump. His parachute opens. He's hanging helplessly in the air, burned and in shock. Then, he hears it, the drone of an engine. A P-51 Mustang is flying straight for him. It bears down, the barrels of its 4 .50 caliber machine guns staring him in the face. Wad closes his eyes, bracing for the end. But the roar of the engine fades. He opens his eyes to see the Mustang pulling up, the pilot looking at him. 3 more Mustangs fly by, their pilots not firing, but simply looking at the face of their enemy. 1 salutes. Wad waves back as they disappear into the sky. 2 pilots down. Sergeant Tada Biokimak joins the fight late due to engine trouble, but he makes up for it with pure fury. He charges head-on at the American planes, using his nimble Sparrow to dodge and weave. On the ground, Thai airmen watch in awe as this single pilot breaks up the entire American formation, but his luck runs out. Bullets rip through his canopy, smash his gun sight, and pierce his oil tank. Blinded by oil and with only 1 gun left, he knows it's over. He glides his crippled plane down to a rice paddy. 3 pilots down. That leaves Pilot Officer Kamrab Linkham and Flight Sergeant Julit Badaragunchon, guided by ground crew with a cloth arrow. They find the enemy, knowing the odds are impossible. They push their fear aside and attack. They climb to 4,500 meters. For a moment, Julidet closes his eyes and prays. Then, he opens fire. The Americans scatter, and a desperate, swirling dogfight begins. Juladit's plane is caught in the prop wash of an enemy plane and goes into a death spin. He recovers just in time to find a P-51 on his tail. The battle rages down to 2,500 meters. Juladit flies with fearless aggression, weaving and dodging so much the Americans can't get a clean shot. He turns to meet a diving Mustang head. As they fire at each other, Juladit prays again. There's a bang. His engine dies. He glides down and crash lands hard in a rice paddy, thrown from his plane and knocked unconscious. Camrobe is the last man standing. He's alone, outnumbered, and outgunned. His only advantage is his plane's agility and his knowledge of the terrain. He dives for the jungle-covered ridgelines, hoping to use the mountains to his advantage. A lone P-51 piloted by Second Lieutenant Henry F. Minco follows him. Camrobe flies low, weaving through a trench, hugging the jungle. LT Minco stays with him, firing bursts. One finds its mark, shredding Camrobe's parachute and footrest and sending shrapnel into his leg. He loses feeling. He's easy prey. Camrobe can't run. The Mustang is twice as fast. He has one desperate idea. He flies his Sparrow in a straight line, straight at the mountain. Minco lines up the shot. His crosshairs are on the TIE fighter. He pulls the trigger. A torrent of bullets fly past Camrobe, hitting the mountain in front of him. Camrobe makes small turns but stays on course. Minco keeps firing, getting closer and closer. At the last possible second, just above the treetops, Camrobe yanks back on the stick and climbs. LT Minco has nowhere to go. He zips under the climbing TIE fighter, and directly ahead of him is the mountainside. He's too low to turn. He pulls up instinctively, but now the Sparrow is behind him. Camrobe's sights fill with the American plane. He pulls the trigger. His two machine guns fire, and he watches as his bullets strike the P-51. He sees the look of surprise on LT Minco's face as his Mustang swerves, spins, and plunges into the jungle, erupting in a fireball. Camrobe, injured and in shock, closes his eyes and says a prayer for his fallen enemy. He manages to limp his damaged plane to a small sugar plantation airstrip and is taken to a hospital. There, he is reunited with his 4 friends, but the reunion is incomplete. They are told that after fighting his injuries for 2 days, Flight Sergeant Wad Suntungamon lost his battle for life. A heavy silence fills the room. They sit in disbelief. As a cold wind blows through the window, they feel a presence, a shadow moving through the room. They know their friend has come to say goodbye, which brings us back to the mountain and the small piece of metal in Major Jackson's hand. For years, they knew an American pilot had been lost that day. By finding the fuel pump, by pinpointing the crash site of LT Henry F. Minco, they had found the needle in the haystack. Thanks to their efforts, in January 2024, the DPA, the Defense POW, MIA accounting agency, announced they would excavate the site. They are hoping to finally find LT Minco's remains and bring him home, 80 years after he gave his life in a dogfight high over the Thai jungle. A remarkable story of war, sacrifice, and the long, difficult road to reconciliation and return. We'd like to extend a huge thank you to Major Daniel Jackson for approaching us with this incredible story and providing the material to tell it. It's a powerful reminder that the echoes of war are never truly silent and that the search for closure can last a lifetime. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more deep dives into history, please like, comment, and subscribe.